One Zambia, one nation. Good evening and welcome to the TV2 News at 20 hours. My name is Mapalo Chibale. We first take a look at the headlines. 9 people have died in a road accident on the Ndola-Kitwe dual carriageway. President Edgar Lungu has directed ministers to submit periodical and quarterly performance reports. Three professionals have joined the Chipolopolo camp ahead of this Sunday's Group E World Cup qualifier match against Nigeria in Ndola. And now the details. 9 people have died in a road accident on the Ndola-Kitwe dual carriageway on the Copperbelt. 8 of the victims died on the spot when a Toyota Regis minibus overturned after the driver lost control. The accident happened last night at Baluba near Copperstone University as the occupants were coming from a funeral in Kitwe. Copperbelt Province Police Commissioner Charity Katanga has confirmed, saying 3 other people sustained serious injuries in the same accident and are admitted to Luansha's Thompson Hospital. Here is a report.
The emotions are high and the pain so immense. 9 lives have been cut short in such a tragic manner. The 9 were part of the 13 people who had got on this vehicle from Kitwe to Luansh on the Copperbelt. But just a few kilometers before their final destination, an accident happened. And 8 of them died on the spot, while a minor gave up on arrival at Luansha's Thompson Hospital.
Yes, I was coming from Luansha. So the moment I reached here at Copperstone, I found some vehicles parked. And when I stopped somewhere there, it's when now I saw that some people were just laying on the ground. Some were breathing and some were not breathing. It's how I tend to say, let me just pick maybe 2, because me, I was driving Alteza Toyota. So my vehicle can only allow about 2 people to be inside. It's how I picked the mother and a child to Thompson Hospital. Thereafter, another vehicle also carried about 2 people to Thompson Hospital. And after that, when we delivered those 4 people, we saw another vehicle which brought another person who was at least breathing. So in the number of the people who were at least looking to be survived, they are about 5. And 7 to 8 people, they all died at the spot.
But this is not all. 3 others are seriously injured and battling for their lives at the hospital. Just in the last 2 months, over 20 people have died on this stretch of the Kitwe-Ndola dual carriageway, raising concern amongst various stakeholders. Mshota Mpundu, ZNBC News in Kitwe.
President Edgar Lungu has directed all ministers to submit periodical and quarterly performance reports. President Lungu says he expects the reports to highlight progress and challenges in implementing the set development targets. He has since reiterated his warning of dismissing non-performing ministers, saying the PF has a lot of capable members who can equally serve in government. He was speaking today in Lusaka during the first cabinet meeting following the PF victory in the August 2016 general election. More in this report.
This is the first cabinet meeting following the PF victory in the August general election. President Edgar Lungu chaired the meeting, which was attended by Vice President Inonge Wina, cabinet ministers and provincial ministers as ex-officials. The cabinet meeting follows the swearing-in of ministers appointed to various portfolios. President Lungu has so far sworn in 24 cabinet ministers and 10 provincial ministers. In his preamble during the meeting, the President encouraged ministers to freely submit and exchange ideas on how best government can deliver national development.
But I hope we are all, as I believe, equal to the task, and let's feel free to interact and cross-pollinate ourselves with the new ideas, because we are one government after all. The Minister of Justice cannot be deemed to be a standalone ministry, so neither can the Minister of Defense or Finance. We are just one entity, one dynamic entity. We should coordinate and interact as much as possible. Like I said in Parliament, no one can be a standalone ministry because this is a one government.
President Lungu directed cabinet and provincial ministers to submit periodical performance reports.
For the future, I will expect periodical reports from ministries and provinces, say quarterly, just to let me know how you are going on, the challenges you are facing, whether we are meeting the set targets and so on. Like I said in Parliament,
the President reiterated his warning to dismiss non-performing ministers, saying the party has a lot of capable members who can serve in government. Yotam Mugara, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
Now to courts, where the Lusaka High Court has upheld the election of Harry Kalaba as PF Bahati Member of Parliament. High Court Judge Martin Msaluke has since thrown out the petition by UPND losing candidate Makuwa Lusaka, challenging Mr. Kalaba's election with costs. Judge Musaluke has thrown out the petition, stating that Mr. Kalaba was duly, fairly and overwhelmingly elected. Mr. Kalaba, who is also Minister of Foreign Affairs, was represented by Lusaka lawyer Nicholas Chanda. And speaking after the ruling in Lusaka today, Mr. Kalaba praised the courts for upholding his election. Meanwhile, in other parliamentary election petition cases, UPND Kabwata parliamentary losing candidate Mulenga Sata and PF Kaoma parliamentary losing candidate Austin Liato today presented their witnesses before the courts. Hector Simfukwe has more in this report.
Losing parliamentary candidate Austin Liato has today told the court how the opposition UPND allegedly used violence and intimidation to win the seat in the just-ended election. Mr. Liato has informed the court that UPND candidate General Morgan Situara threatened to remove the throats and private parts of the voters if they continued showing loyalty to the ruling party. The petitioner said some people believed the threats because the respondent is a former defense wing officer. Judge Annie Bobo Banda said that apart from beating PF supporters, General Situara's agents also destroyed the petitioner's campaign vehicle. The petitioner further alleged that the respondent kept on informing the people that they should not vote for him because he was using funds that were meant for development in the area. Mr. Liato also accused General Situara of having donated money at the UCZ church, where he was introduced as the UPND aspiring candidate. He pleaded with the court to nullify the election because the respondent had breached the electoral rules. Earlier, the court advised the parties not to waste time, as they have 5 days each to prosecute the matter. In another courtroom, UPND Kabwata losing parliamentary candidate Mulenga Sata, who has challenged the election of Given Mubinda, also presented witnesses. Higher Education Minister Professor Nkanduluwo was also in court to listen to the proceedings in a petition where Doreen Mwamba has challenged the election as Munali Member of Parliament. Trial in this matter has been set for tomorrow. PF Lukasha losing candidate Frida Kansembe was also seen at the court premises. Hector Simfukwe, TV2 News in Lusaka.
Property worth more than 500,000 kwacha has been destroyed in a house fire in Livingstone's Mbita Township. Owner of the house, Anita Mwanza, says the fire, which started in the master bedroom, is suspected to have been caused by an electric fault. And an eyewitness has told ZNBC the neighbors tried to put out the fire because they had challenges informing the fire brigade in Livingstone in good time. Christopher Munsaka, however, says after many attempts, they managed to reach the fire brigade, who responded quickly, though the fire had already spread to other parts of the house. He says some neighbors, however, managed to save some household items before the fire spread. We go to a commercial break. Still to come, baby reportedly stolen in Lusaka over the weekend found. Plus other stories. Keep watching. The 10-month-old baby boy who was last Saturday stolen in Lusaka's Chawama Township has been found. Police spokesperson Esther Katongo has confirmed, saying the suspect, identified as Gift Piri, aged 26, of Kuku Compound, has been apprehended in connection with the case. Earlier, in a strange turn of events, baby Niza Paulino, who was retained to his mother around 09 hours today by a boy in the neighborhood. The boy claimed he was sent by a woman whose description fits the suspect who stole the baby on Saturday. And the baby's mother, Charity Mwamba, told TV2 News that she kept on receiving threatening messages from a strange mobile phone whose holder claimed to be in possession of the infant. More in this report.
From a nightmare to a story of hope, little Niza Paulino, the only child of a single mother, is now safe, and he knows it. Looking relaxed and chipper, he caresses the microphone in sweet innocence, probably unaware of the big issue that surrounds him. When ZNBC's TV2 ran a story after he was stolen by a strange woman on Saturday, it bred results and he was found. A suspect has since been picked up for questioning over the matter. A check by TV2 News found dozens waiting to see the woman who is suspected of committing the offense at Chawama police station. Many wanted to enforce the kind of justice only a mob can carry out.
It was today, just around what time? I can't even really remember the time, but then it was today.
So what exactly did you receive? You can explain in detail?
Well, I was just told by my neighbor to say, Charity, come back home, your son is here, someone has brought him.
This woman says she worked with the police in order to get the suspect arrested after she watched the story on television. She says the woman who is alleged to have stolen the baby could not give reasons why she suddenly had a baby in her possession.
Best friend wandi mukalamba wako so alechita pretend ati alikuwa tefumu so irefumu after time alisa kuchoma so kuchoma kulia best friend wako balechita na communicate ukulanda ati walino mwana kuchoma umwana omwa umekondwani so chani pasata de nalanda fyama point chani pasata de alisa 15 hours uko tusangwa so Aisha ne chitenge na ka vest kamwana so Aisha na ka vest kamwana so blue akambo kumanisha watu wale watu walipata mwana at phone na alirufia bali ni pasatade mairo pasande alisa isaba kalamba bako bamweka tayongo mwana yole ndati walipata mwana uli kuisa
Mwana anasoa pasatade betina sowera pasatade stinkala pa nyumba ndingachetira unda ndiye lero manje tensabwera kwa mine kuno police uko benzo watumira police ba ati ku victim support na atete akwa mwana sepa mine tafika paja batitumira phone ati mwana aoneka.
The boy's grandmother has praised the TV2 News crew for their good coverage.
na chiba mwa jack kumochero na bana ndi abakuchechi tuile tuleshinguluka fenge ifikuba tulenda tuleipusha tulelila elo tuwamva batimira phone ati umwana amoneka lelo na atashalesa wabo mbefya makafyonso kupita muri ba ZNBC momwe bantu mulabomba.
The suspect has since been moved from this police station for fear of the mob's wrath. Penopsi Gazwe, TV2 News, Lusaka.
Habitat for Humanity Zambia National Director Kanyanta Mukelebae says it is critical for Zambia to develop its housing sector in order to attain the middle income status. Mr. Mukelebae says housing is a critical component of human development and must be taken as a matter of conscience. He was speaking to TV2 News ahead of the commemoration of World Habitat Day, which falls every first Monday of October. Mwilan Sofu gives us a report.
A bright smile, but the nightmare starts when the sun sets. Cecilia Daka, 45, of Lusaka's Kanyama compound, dreads the night. This is because they have to share this two-roomed house with her more than 5 children.
Tigona vana venangu vagona pansi venangu pampando sochabe hawe ivuta funika so munga iseti na vana funika kolo yanga kolo firirumu so.
She is not the only one with this challenge.
Timankala sochabe ke masingu mwena ngo mankala yakulu sometimes kwa bwera balendo taipinda pakati ngantika sochabe bana msiti tena ngoma ina tate ku bedroom na mwana futi winango
ya mavuta makamaka monga family mwamene ningakambire monga nabwera pako hapa nafuna nyumba ya rent pakufuna nyumba ya rent uzanifunza bana manje sini zapendera baja bana kwa nipendera mwene ninawo mu nyumba zapezati awe toilet mzazuja.
As Zambia commemorates World Habitat Day, the issue of housing challenges come to the fore. Already, Zambia has a housing deficit of more than 1.3 million, which is projected to increase to 3.3 million by the year 2030.
For us to reach 2030, having made reasonable dents into that housing deficit, we require to construct at least 222,000 houses per year.
President Edgar Lungu has announced that he will create a new ministry in charge of housing, which has been welcomed by many.
Nipemba kubuteko kuli ba president na ku bantu bonse bamene bayanganira monga ife bamukafwirwa monga ife wovutika nakula nafika pano nilibe nyumba manje nipemba pakufa kwanga nikankaleko mukabakanilireko mukanyumba kali konse.
As the country battles the housing deficit, there's also need to improve those structures already existing. Mwilan Sofo, TV2 News in Lusaka.
In other news, Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo says the Refugees Bill will soon be presented in Parliament. This will harmonize the integration of migrants in the country. Mr. Kampyongo has disclosed that Zambia is currently host to about 52,000 refugees from neighboring countries. The minister was speaking when he arrived in Geneva, Switzerland, for the 67th session of United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees UNHCR Executive Committee meeting. Mr. Kampyongo has said Zambia is committed to the plight of refugees in the country through domesticating most of the international protocols on the status of refugees. The UNHCR 67th Executive Committee meeting is being attended by more than 98 member states. We take another break and thereafter we have international and sports news. Ethiopia has begun 3 days of mourning after at least 52 people were killed during a protest at a religious festival in the Oromia region. BBC reports that some died in a stampede on Sunday after police fired tear gas and rubber bullets. Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn said rioters had caused pre-planned mayhem that led people to fall to their deaths in ravines. He denied reports that the security forces had opened fire. Thousands had gathered for the religious festival in Boshotu, 40 kilometers from the capital, Addis Ababa. And in sports, 3 professionals have joined the Chipolopolo boys camp ahead of this Sunday's Group E World Cup qualifier match against Nigeria in Ndola. The 3 are goalkeeper Kennedy Mwene and strikers Winston Kalengo and Collins Mbesuma. Team manager Stanley Kaseko has told ZNBC Kitwe that midfielder Chisamba Lungu and the TP Mazembe trio of Nathan Sinkala, Rainford Kalaba and Kabaso Chongo are expected to join today. Kaseko also says coach Wedson Renda has called Hopper Ranana striker Roger Kola to replace injured striker Lewis Macha. He said Macha suffered an injury during club duty and will not be fit for the Nigeria game. France-based defender Stofila Sunzu is expected in the country on Tuesday or Wednesday. The Chipolopolo boys will also face Cameroon and Algeria in the Group 4, a place in the 2018 World Cup in Russia. And there we end the news, but before we go, a look at the headlines once again. 9 people have died in a road accident on the Ndola-Kitwe dual carriageway on the Copperbelt. 8 of the victims died on the spot when a Toyota Regis minibus overturned after the driver lost control. President Edgar Lungu has directed all ministers to submit periodical and quarterly performance reports. President Lungu says he expects the reports to highlight progress and challenges in implementing the set development targets. And in sports, 3 professionals have joined the Chipolopolo boys camp ahead of this Sunday's Group E World Cup qualifier match against Nigeria in Ndola. The 3 are goalkeeper Kennedy Mwene and strikers Winston Kalengo and Collins Mbesuma. There we end the news on TV2 at 20 hours. On behalf of the entire TV2 news team, my name is Mapalo Chivale saying good night and God bless you.